The Spontaneity Shop presents All British Comedy Explained with Abigoliah Schamaun and Tom Salinsky. 2025 Christmas Special, Morecambe and Wise.
Hello there, this is All British Comedy Explained, the podcast where I finally learn about all the British comedy shows I've been missing out on. I'm Abigoliah Schamaun, I'm a stand-up comedian, and guiding me through this comedy labyrinth is writer Tom Salinsky.
Hello there, what a pleasure to be back again.
It's so good. The last time I was at your house, we were celebrating my 40th.
Oh, yes.
And we crashed your house.
Yes, and you drank all the wine.
We did. I am very aware I owe you a case of wine.
No, absolutely not. No. I was happy to do it.
I was telling some friends, I was like, Tom's a real adult because not only did he invite us to his house, but we showed up and he was like, in here, 6 bottles of wine I just happen to have in a box in case I have an impromptu party.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
This is our surprise episode coming out on Christmas Day. We didn't announce we were going to do this, but we actually have an episode just in an ordinary schedule dropping on Christmas Day. So, happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everyone. I hope, however you're celebrating, you're having a joyous time. And if the family's getting too much, we're here for you to stick on your earbuds and just take a break and spend a little of your Christmas Day with us.
And our listeners and viewers may have been surprised to see this turn up, but they will have seen the thumbnail, they will have read the title, they know what it is we're going to watch, and you don't.
I have no idea.
But let's just start by talking a little bit about the tradition of Christmas specials, because I think you said that's not really a thing in America?
No. I mean, there'll be a Christmas episode of a show. Like, I'm thinking of certain shows might not have had one, like, say, their first season because they didn't know how long they were going to go. And then in their second season, they might have a Christmas episode, but it's not like the Christmas special, like
SNL will have a Christmas-themed show for their last show of the year.
Yeah.
But they won't have been off the year for 6 months and suddenly come back with a 3-hour Christmas spectacular.
Exactly. There's never a longer version. It's just like in the schedule that, hey, it's Christmas, so we'll talk about Christmas.
So as far as I can tell, this is a tradition which began in the UK in 1958.
Okay.
With a show called A Christmas Night with the Stars.
Here is your Master of Ceremonies, Jack Warner.
Good evening. And if I'm not too late, Merry Christmas. And that comes not only just from me, but from everybody here in the studio, plus a whole host of old friends who'll be dropping in on.
So, Shiny Floor Show.
Kind of. It was broadcast almost every year until 1972, and it would feature, yes, the kind of shiny floor BBC star who would introduce music acts and special guests and specially shot short editions of popular comedy and entertainment programmes. Mm-hmm. So there'd be a little like Dad's Army sketch lasting 7 or 8 minutes, which would then just be dropped into A Christmas Night with the Stars.
Okay.
There's also Doctor Who.
Oh.
Which in late 1965 was devoting 12 whole weeks to one epic battle against the Daleks.
And that was, were they wearing Christmas hats?
Well, one of those Saturday nights was Christmas Day.
Okay.
And so they thought rather than subjecting the Christmas Day audience to more bloodshed and alien menace, they would do a Christmas-themed episode. Mm-hmm. So they sort of suspended the regular plot. And instead we have the TARDIS landing at Lord's Cricket Ground. We have hijinks on a Hollywood movie set with some ersatz Keystone Cops. And then at the end, the Doctor, played by William Hartnell, turns to the camera and says, "And a Merry Christmas to all of you at home."
So was that loved, or did everyone hate that he broke the wall? Because I have mixed feelings about that, but I'm not a Doctor Who
In 65, there wasn't the same kind of rabid fandom that there is today. And that's one of the lost episodes. And in fact, it's one of the episodes which is least likely ever to be recovered. Because unlike the other 11 parts of the Dalek Master Plan, that episode was never sold overseas. And most of the time when old Doctor Who episodes come back, it's because they're down the back of a filing cabinet in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably never be able to see that, but we do have the audio.
Okay, cool.
So then you have the thing that you and I were talking about with American shows, sitcoms or other shows which happen to be transmitting episodes in Christmas week, and so why not give that a Christmas theme?
Yeah.
So the second season of Till Death Us Do Part, which you might remember Ben Elton talking about, kicked off on the 26th of December 1966 with a Christmas episode. Season 3 of Nearest and Dearest concluded with a Christmas episode in 1969. And there's also a standalone Christmas special. This is actually maybe the very first standalone Christmas special, even before Christmas Night with the Stars, a bumper edition of Hancock's Half Hour, which was entitled Hancock's 43 Minutes.
Okay.
And that was the Tony Hancock character. I don't think we've seen.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Hancock,
what
yes.
is Tony
We'll
Hancock?
come to Tony Hancock.
Is it a sketch show or is it a
sitcom?
sitcom? Okay.
But it was a little bit of a loose sitcom, like it wasn't exactly the same situation every week. Like one week he'd be a barrister, or one week he'd be an actor. Quite often he was an actor. On Hancock's 43 Minutes, he gets to host his own variety show.
Oh, fun.
But today, it's quite common for long-running sitcoms not just to do a special Christmas-themed episode, but to use that captive Christmas audience to do something momentous.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a sitcom, and then at Christmas they release a film.
Yes, yeah.
Are they always longer?
Often. So The Office concluded with a 2-part Christmas special in 2003, and then very recently Gavin and Stacey was resurrected for a feature-length Christmas special. Only Fools and Horses essentially ended up only being on television at Christmas. Rather than making a series every year, they do one feature-length special between 1991 and 2003. And you wouldn't see Del Boy and Rodney for the whole of the rest of the year.
Okay, so they only show up as a Christmas treat. They are Santa. They're the Santa of British television.
But there is one standout purveyor of Christmas specials, and that is who we're going to be watching today. So now is your opportunity. Do you know what we're going to be watching?
See, you already said what I thought it was, so I don't think it is that now. I thought we were going to watch Gavin and Stacey.
Oh, I mean, that would have been great.
The reason why is because of course, did I watch it? No, I like to stay on theme. I've never seen any British television. But I remember when that special came out and everyone was like, it was just all over the place because it was like, they're back. The show's been gone and now they're back and it's going to be a Christmas special and loads of people tuned in. And it was
It's what a marketing agency would call a scarcity ploy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have shown you that cold, because the nostalgic buzz that you get from seeing these people again depends on you having watched earlier episodes.
Okay.
So no, there is a different choice, and even people who are listening to this and haven't seen the thumbnail or read the title, they are going to know exactly which 3 words are going to come out of my mouth next. One more guess before I reveal?
Can I have 3 words? The Black Adder.
No.
Okay.
There is a Blackadder Christmas special, which again Ben Elton talked about, which is great, despite his slagging off. No. These 3 words are Morecambe and Wise.
We're going to see Morecambe and Wise.
We absolutely are. Now, their shows would always top the ratings. They put out over a dozen Christmas specials, but it was a very, very easy choice for me to zero in on exactly one. So you have heard of Morecambe and Wise.
Yes. Who, as you know, I read Ben's biography before we interviewed him. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked out that special episode where we interview Ben Elton, please do. He was heavily influenced by Morecambe and Wise. He just he talked about him in the interview, and he, all through his book, he's like, but Morecambe and Wise. And I've been like, I got to check out these Morecambe and Wise fellows.
All right, so we're going to watch the 1971 Christmas special.
Okay.
That's the year that the UK got rid of pounds, shillings and pence and moved to decimal currency. The first Starbucks opened in Washington State. Walt Disney World opens in Florida, the second of the Disney theme parks, and Fiddler on the Roof is this year's box office champ at the movies.
Tradition.
But our story starts in 1940.
Okay, going back.
So this is when Ernest Wiseman met John Eric Bartholomew at the Nottingham Empire. This was one of Britain's variety theatres, and these are 2 young lads who became Ernie Wise and Eric Morecambe, and they were teenagers, and they were what was called front cloth comics. Does that mean anything to you?
No, but are they the comics, I'm going to guess, who come out before the full-on stage show in front of the curtain and do a little something to kind of warm up the audience? Are they like a warm-up act?
More or less, not just a warm-up act. Whenever scenery needed to be changed or a band needed to set up during the show, they'd bring the curtains across, and if you could entertain the audience standing in front of those curtains, you were therefore very, very useful to keep the show moving.
Oh, okay.
So not just as a warm-up, but throughout the show. Front cloth comics.
Okay.
Sometimes double act, sometimes just one person on their own, but a crucial part of the variety circuit.
Fun fact, as someone who has done warm-up, you also do that during warm-up because they'll be filming and then they'll be like, we need to fix the makeup, and you have to run on and just talk for you never know how long while they fix everything.
Yeah. And so you don't want to start a 7-minute joke because at 6.5 minutes they could say, right, we're ready.
Yep.
And you don't get to the punchline.
Yeah. You just have to be like, and we'll come back to that later, folks.
So as Morecambe and Wise grew up, they became stars on the variety circuit, and they were offered a BBC television show in 1954 called Running Wild.
Are Morecambe and Wise like the Abbott and Costello of Britain?
That's a pretty good comparison. Yeah.
But Abbott and Costello, this is happening around the same time. They would have been older.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello were 40s principally. And They had long careers. Again, radio, little bits of TV, and then movies.
Yeah.
Morecambe and Wise, as we're coming to, were live and then principally TV.
Okay.
But their first TV show was broadcast live to the nation, and no copies are known to exist. And this is probably quite a good thing, because this series was not a success.
Okay.
There's a famous review at the time which read, "New definition of a television set, the box they buried Morecambe and Wise in."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. No, it's where they're born in.
Yeah.
It's how we know and love them today.
Not so much. It was cancelled after 6 episodes, and they went back to live work.
You know what? As much as the live circuit, as someone who's on it all the time, we complain and want to be on that box. We want to be buried in that box. At the end of the day, you can always go back to the live circuit.
So they sort of tested the water, making guest appearances on other people's shows, and then eventually they were lured back to television in the early 60s with an ITV show called Two of a Kind. Mm-hmm. And by now they were a bit kind of more secure in themselves. They understood what made their comedy work and the kind of writers they needed. And they leant very heavily on the talents of Dick Hills and Sid Green, who also appeared in some sketches.
By the way, all of these names sound so old-timey.
Yes, don't they?
And I know they're British, but I just picture them like with New York Jewish accents being like, all right, kids, here's what we're going to do. We got some great gags. And a lot of pratfalls. That's what we're going to do. That's what the kids love.
Ever seen the Sunshine Boys?
No.
You know which words are funny and which words are not funny?
You told me 100 times, Uncle Willie. Listen, I have to
Which
get to
words
the
are
office.
funny?
Words with a K in it are funny. I have to get to the office.
Words with a K in it are funny. You didn't know that, did you? I'll tell you which words always get a laugh.
Alka-Seltzer?
Alka-Seltzer is funny.
Chicken?
Chicken is funny.
Pickle.
Pickle is funny.
Words with a K are funny.
Yeah, words with a K.
Yes. So around this time, some of their enduring catchphrases and regular bits of business began to emerge, and now the public began to take this northern double act to their hearts. Fast-talking Eric and genial, slightly pompous Ernie. But television was changing. So two things come into play here. One is that colour was coming.
Okay.
And the other is that overseas sales were becoming important. So for ITV, which was still in this kind of franchise model.
Wait, back up. What year is this that Color's coming in?
This is the mid-60s.
Okay, sorry.
So the Midlands-based ATV franchise they were making the show for couldn't offer colour, and the BBC could. But at the same time, ATV had tried to sell the show to the States, and it hadn't been successful. So
ATV is Kansas, BBC is Oz. I
exactly.
get it.
So they jumped ship, and they ended up making 71 episodes of the Morecambe and Wise show for the BBC, swapping Hills and Green for a new writer after the first year.
What happened to Hills and Green?
Well, Eric Morecambe suffered a heart attack.
Jesus. How old was... So... Wouldn't
he'd
he have
be
been
in
in
his
his 30s or 40s?
Yeah.
That's young for a heart attack.
Yeah. And so the BBC said, listen, we've given these boys a 3-year contract. We will honour that as soon as Eric is better, we'll start the clock again. But Hills and Green were like, nah, this isn't going to work out. And they jumped ship.
Okay, so it's their choice.
But the new guy they got in was a guy called Eddie Braben. He was a veteran comedy writer, but it's his input which finally cemented the Eric and Ernie personas. He was the missing piece of the puzzle. He moved their on-screen interactions even closer to their off-stage behaviour. He wrote sketches in which the two of them shared a flat, often seen sleeping in the same bed together. Again, something which struck Ben Elton as being almost surreal. But it's really just a way of creating this sort of domestic life for them to have. He created the notion that Ernie, who'd often just been the straight man up to this point, was a self-important but deluded writer of terrible plays, which he would insist upon staging. And these gave the now longer episodes something to build towards. And they started to become incredibly popular.
Okay.
One of the things that meant was they could attract bigger stars to be guests on their show. So there's a running joke in early episodes which involved Hollywood legend Peter Cushing continually interrupting proceedings to claim that he hadn't been paid. And lots of other singers and actors made appearances, and you have the tradition here of the shows ending with the song Bring Me Sunshine and the two men skipping off towards the back of the set. That's introduced in the second series. In 1969, they delivered their first Christmas special, which got an audience of 20 million people.
Whoa!
And by the fifth series, stars were clamouring to be allowed on the show
Of course.
in order to have Morecambe and Wise take the piss out of them. It's the 1971 show in which everything comes together. So I will say further discussion until we've seen it.
Okay.
What are you expecting?
What I don't understand is a sketch show.
It's sort of a sketch variety show.
Okay.
So without giving too much away, there'll be bits where they're kind of doing that front cloth comic bit. There'll be bits where they are playing characters in sketches. And there are these sort of quasi, is it a sketch or isn't it, where they're kind of themselves, but they're on a set. And then it builds towards Ernie's terrible play.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is with the stars, and this is where it all comes to a head, that we are going to see a very famous person that is now canceled.
I wouldn't do that to you.
It wouldn't be your fault. It'd be like, oh, remember when we could like him? And we're going to see a very famous person who is now tragically passed.
I mean, it was 1971, so that's a lot of them.
Yeah, actually, good point. And I think we're going to see a young upstart who this was maybe their first chance, and I think there's going to be a cameo from a royal. But not like the Queen or something. That would be too much. But maybe a young Charles or something like that. Or a Prince Andrew. There we go. Canceled and royal. And then I think it's going to be a lot of very clever wordplay. Because if they're sitting in a bed, it's going to be like Pete and Dud, where it's about the language and not about the physical comedy. That's what I think I'm going to see.
All right, let's go and watch the 1971 Morecambe and Wise Christmas special.
I'm really looking forward to this. So which one's Ernie?
Eric Morecambe on the left, Ernie Wise on the right.
Okay.
Not me, I'll be as tough as old boots. No, not me.
Wait, just to double check. On the left is Morecambe and on the right is Wise?
Exactly.
Do they always stand?
Like Ant and Dec.
Well,
I don't think so.
Well, because they're Morecambe and Wise, and they always stand as Morecambe and Wise. Now I'm going to watch for that.
Miss Glenda Jackson, 2, 3, 4.
Glenda Jackson, you know.
Do I?
Very famous British actress. Also went into politics for a while. Now, all of these are TV presenters who are not used to doing this kind of thing.
All the men are.
All the men. Frank Boff, Richard Baker, Patrick Moore, Michael Parkinson. I don't know who he is.
I like that bass player there who's just like so excited to have the best seats in the house.
I'm playing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order. I'll give you that. side.
What a star.
Are we going to get a royal?
Let's
No.
meet Miss Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey. I know who she is. Oh, I want that gown.
Would you like me to sing a verse, to start it off, Robin Hood riding through the glen?
You know what song he needs to sing. Alan and Dale, Alan and Dale.
Oh, listen, don't you know?
Is this the song they always end with, or do they end with a different song every time?
Oh, we'll talk about that. It's
Okay.
a super good question to ask. Okay, welcome back. That was my Christmas present to you.
Oh my God, I loved it. I am now a big fan of Morecambe and Wise. I wish they still did television like that.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, right away, their chemistry is so genuine. Like, they seem like really genuine friends. Like, more so than just like, oh, they're good on stage, or the laughs are good, or the writing's good. It's like there's like electricity between them.
So by this stage, they've been performing together for 30 years.
Wow. And did they liked each other,
Oh,
right?
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
How could they not? Absolutely.
I mean, you never know.
It's true.
You
it's true.
never know.
But that Andre Previn sketch in particular is incredibly famous.
Who is he? Because first of all, I couldn't believe how long it was, because I was like, okay, we make a big deal and then we play the song. That's what's going to happen. And I was like, I loved that. And who is this Andre Previn, who's a conductor but has incredible comic timing?
Well, this was one of the questions. So, like I said, at this stage, it's kind of the beginning of a peak, which actually lasted for some time. We'll talk about this in a minute, but they were incredibly famous. The Morecambe and Wise Christmas show was the centerpiece of the BBC schedule, and Andre Previn was a great get, and they loved having really famous kind of classy people that they could make look ridiculous.
That's another thing about the guest was it wasn't, because this was in the 70s, so it's like they could have had rock and rollers, they could have had like hip actors, and not to say that Shirley Bassey, but Shirley Bassey's like a class act. It's not like it's not disco, it's not rock and roll, it's properly classic shiny floor television.
Andre Previn, who was quite famous, is now known to generations of people for that sketch more than anything else. And the line at the end, I'm playing all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order, is so famous. And there will be people watching this and listening to this now who cannot believe that you have never seen that before.
I loved it. So he was first of all, like when you were like, it's Andre Previn, the famous conductor. I'm like, I don't follow enough orchestras.
And you weren't alive in 1971.
I wasn't, to know famous conductors. So he was a famous conductor, but did he do a lot of cameos like this?
He was like a popularizer of classical music.
Okay.
So he was often on talk shows and things like that.
So
It was
like a
time
Yo-Yo
when-
Ma.
Yeah, it
Like
was
someone who
yeah.
somehow brought classical music to the mainstream again.
Yeah, and it was a time when classical music was more mainstream as well. When Radio 3 regularly got huge audience figures, before Classic FM, before people only knew classical music from commercials. But it was a risk. So, first of all, they put a lot of money behind that sketch.
They
There's
had
like
to get
a
a whole
40-piece
orchestra,
exactly. But the producer pushed the boat out, and he was very keen on this idea. Now, this actually is an old sketch. There's a previous version of this sketch when it's just Eric annoying Ernie not playing the piece properly. And it goes all the way back to Two of a Kind. But Eddie Braben thought that there was more potential there. And if they got the right guest star, they could really make it work. But they insisted that Andre Previn be there for 5 full days of rehearsal. And Andre Previn was not interested in doing 5 full days of rehearsal. I think they compromised on 3.
Well, that was another question, is like, how much did they rehearse this?
After the first day, Andre Previn's mother was ill and he wasn't able to attend the other 2 days of rehearsal. So
He did that on one day?
Basically, they'd done the read-through and he hadn't learned the lines yet, and then he had to fly home. So he came back on the day of the recording, learnt the lines in the car on the way to Television Centre, and rehearsed with Eric and Ernie during the day before performing it in front of the audience. And Eric was not happy. He thought this was going to be a disaster, but there's a moment when, after he comes out from behind the curtain, and Andre Previn does his line about, I'll get my baton, it's in Chicago, and the audience laughs, you can see Eric go, pow! Like he knows this is going to work now.
Now I have to go back and watch it for just that moment right there.
But in rehearsals, Eric was really clear to Andre Previn. He said, none of the three of us at any stage have to give the slightest hint that there is anything funny happening.
Yeah. I guess that, yeah, because there's no winking from Andre Previn. He seems annoyed the whole time, as you would as you're trying to, like, you know, you're a very serious musician and these comedians are mucking about. And how long was it?
It's about 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah. That's like a short film.
Yeah. And like I say, it was the centerpiece of the episode. And it constantly we'll come on to Morecambe and Wise best ofs, of which there were a lot for many years. But it's the one that always comes out first. But the thing I couldn't kind of believe when I was reviewing this is the 1971 Christmas special is not only the one with the incredibly famous Andrew preview sketch, it's got Shirley Bassey doing Stars in Their Eyes, and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes as well, and Glenda Jackson, and more and more and more.
Yeah.
It's such a feast.
Also, the Glenda Jackson sketch, the reason why I was like, are they lip syncing? Is that fake tapping? Is because I genuinely thought it was so sweet. And even though the whole conceit is like, I can't actually dance like Ginger and Fred, I was like, this is actually like choreographed really well and it's really pretty. And other than the long stick, I'm just enjoying watching like a little musical number. That's why I kept looking for another like wink to the camera. I thought that one was sweet more than it was funny. I thought it was funny, but the Andre Previn one was great, and then the Shirley Bassey one,
which also, as I say, keeps getting dragged out for best ofs, and they're in the same show.
Well, and two, when she showed up on the set, I was like, okay, like the mariachi band. I think that's a mariachi band. Should we call it a mariachi band? I thought it was just going to be like her singing. I was like, okay, and now we take a break from comedy, as you do in these types of shows. And when they show
it's such a good reveal.
It's such a good reveal. And then I was like, okay, does it stop there? And then it keeps going. And then the button on the end of, may I have my shoe back? Yes. And, you know, the camera is above her feet. And then she walks off and I don't know why. I guess because she's such a powerhouse and she's so like regal that in my head I'm like, oh, she's such a good sport.
Yeah. We didn't quite get the Queen. We got mention of the Queen.
We got mention of the Queen. And I will say, other than Shirley Bassey, I didn't know who they were.
I'm trying to think what Glenda Jackson has been in. Women in Love, I think, for Ken Russell. I think that's her. A bunch of films. A big star in the 60s and 70s, and then went into politics, became a Labour MP.
Okay, cool.
And who is Gudrun?
Well, in a Norse myth, Gudrun was a sinner who murdered her husband.
Will you live up to that?
Well, which would you prefer me to live up to, Mr. Crouch? The sinner or the murderer?
I mean, I'm sure if I looked something up, I would know. But when I was like, what has she been in? And you were like, films. Whenever Tom Watts and I watch stuff together, it'll be like, who's that? And I'll be like, that's Al Pacino. And like, real obvious. And he goes, what has he been in? And like, maybe I'll list one thing and it'll be like, what else? And I'm like, I'm not in charge of this. I just want to watch the thing. Let me watch the thing.
When you get home, say Andre Previn to him and see what he says.
Okay.
There's a 50% chance he'll say Morecambe and Wise.
Okay.
But maybe if he has this cultural blind spot, he won't.
I mean, he knows more than you'd think he would, but he thinks certain people look the same. He thinks Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman are the same person. And he thinks Christopher Maloney and John Hamm are the same person. He gets them confused, which, as stupid as it sounds, you can also kind of see it.
Any other reflections on the 71 Christmas special before I tell you about what happened next?
So the actor who was in the Robin Hood sketch,
Francis Matthews, has no big cultural footprint that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Maybe that's a huge blind spot for me. Maybe people are shouting at their pod devices showing, Francis Matthews, how could you not know? But it means nothing to me.
The Robin Hood sketch I thought was very fun. towards the end when they were just corpsing and being ridiculous, it just made me think of like almost like a college review where you're just like, but it's your last night, so fuck it, let's have fun. Like, I thought it was very good, but compared to Shirley Bassey and Andre Previn, it wasn't like the highlight of the show. It is good to know that those wound up on like they are the most famous ones. Yeah. But I liked the Robin Hood one. But
good punchline.
Yeah.
It's not dealing with a mug, you know.
Good callback to the beginning. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely great. What happens next? Do tell me.
Okay, not all of this is good news. The first thing that happened was after the huge success of this show, Eddie Braben, their writer, suffered a nervous breakdown. There was no 1972 series, and new writers were drafted in for the 1972 Christmas special, which was still a triumph, although nothing quite has the same cultural legacy as Andrew Preview. Braben was back for a 1973 series, which saw guest appearances from Cliff Richard, Robert Morley, boxer Henry Cooper, Sooty and Sweep, and alas, the Black and White Minstrels.
Okay.
You know that the Black and White Minstrels were regularly on British television until the late 1970s.
Well, we all grow and change at our own pace.
Andre Previn appeared in the final episode and in the 1973 Christmas special, and again in the first episode of the 1974 series. So instantly, he became associated with Morecambe and Wise.
That's so interesting.
And by now, they're absolute fixtures in the television landscape. The last full series on the BBC, which is the 76 series, also includes some classic sketches, including their breakfast routine set to the song of The Stripper, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And in the 1976 Christmas special, they up the game of having BBC newsreaders appear in sketches, now doing full song and dance numbers.
One thing I forgot to ask, what's with the... Because it's in the opening, and then it keeps coming back. Is it just a signature thing?
Yeah, there's lots of little running jokes, some of which you saw in there, some of which you didn't. Eric chucking or slapping Ernie's cheeks is one. You can't see the join, pointing to what is supposed to be Ernie Wise's hairpiece, but I think actually was his real hair.
Okay.
The thing he does at the end, holding his hand under his chin, is supposed to be a judo move. Get out of that!
Okay.
And there's a bit he does in almost every show except this one, where he takes a paper bag, throws a mime ball in the air, and then flicks the paper bag as if the ball has landed in it.
I've got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. I'm singing, folks.
Okay.
Which is very neat. In 1978, they switched back to ITV. This was the era of this real rivalry between the two networks. Hence that joke about Lou Grade, Ready When You Are.
Yeah. Which, thank you for explaining it to me, because I'm like, what's that mean?
They made a further 30 regular episodes for ITV and 7 Christmas specials, but by now the strain is beginning to tell, and shows that used to get 20 or even 30 million viewers are now struggling to get 10. For a while, Eddie Braben... I know.
Sorry, just shows now would kill for 10 million.
Eddie Braben for a while had an exclusive contract which tied him to the BBC, and so the early ITV shows, very capable scriptwriters who could follow his lead but didn't quite have the same magic. And even when he comes back in 1980, it's all starting to feel a bit tired, a bit like going through the motions, and shows start to get padded out with reworked sketches from earlier in their careers. Eric Morecambe had heart bypass surgery in 1979 and was forced to give up smoking and drinking in 1984.
Wait, he had a heart attack before and he didn't give it up.
Yeah.
God bless the 70s.
Yes.
It's fine.
In 1984, he suffered a final fatal heart attack during the curtain call at a charity concert in Gloucestershire.
Holy shit.
He was 58.
That's so young.
Yeah. The pair's final work together was a TV film called Night Train to Murder.
Sorry, can you imagine being at the show?
Tommy Cooper died on stage and helped.
Incognito did.
A long time coming because people thought it was part of the act.
Yeah.
Ernie Wise spent the next several years mainly hosting tributes to his comedy partner and falling back on his song and dance skills. He died in 1999 at the age of 73.
Okay.
But for years, the schedules were awash with Best of Morecambe and Wise. So a lot of these sketches only get seen now in isolation. But there was no need for me to do a special Tom Salinsky curation because the 71 show is pretty much perfect. Eddie Braben lived to 82. He died in 2013. Both Eric and Ernie earned OBEs and multiple BAFTAs and Writers Guild Awards. And as we saw from our interview with Ben Alton, whole generations of Britons grew up watching them or watched those compilations or watch repeats. And they're just a huge part of the cultural legacy.
Is there a place in the streaming world where you can find these?
All the Christmas shows are on iPlayer at the moment.
Okay.
And there are...
Oh, that'll be such a fun thing to do over Christmas.
The ITV shows are on YouTube at the moment, but who knows when they'll get taken down. I don't know if any of the regular episodes are easy to find.
That is another thing, like, about the Christmas special. I said it when we were watching it, is like, even though it's a Christmas special, other than the opening, like the cold open sketch.
It's not very Christmassy.
It's not Christmassy.
Yeah, there's the turkey sketch.
Oh, I guess, they had the turkey sketch, which was
is
really fun.
Yeah, which is great, but I've never seen that on any repeat compilation. So that's like mid Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, wow. Because I quite like that.
Yeah, I think it's quite funny.
I wrote it down. We didn't talk about it, but but I like that it wasn't overly Christmassy. But I thought when you said they're going to have special guests on and singing, I thought we were going to hear Rock Around the Christmas Tree and, White Christmas and, arranged. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyways, sorry, keep talking. I'm interrupting.
The final thing to say is, apart from watching compilations, of which, like I said, there are many, a great way to learn about Morecambe and Wise is the terrific 2011 television drama film Eric and Ernie, which stars Brian Dick as Ernie Wise, Daniel Rigby as Eric Morecambe, and features Victoria Wood as Eric's mum, Sadie Bartholomew. She was the one who had the idea of putting Eric and Ernie together as a team, and Victoria Wood was the one who had the idea of making a TV film about the early career of Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, cool. And when did that come out?
2011. A little bit hard to find, but if you dig around, I bet you can turn it up somewhere. It's really, really good. It was a good early showing for Daniel Rigby. He's now quite a big star. And I love the fact that it was Victoria Wood's idea. Because they're coming from the same tradition of these northern comedians working their way around the circuit. Victoria Wood a little bit later.
Yeah.
She was just beginning when they were absolutely in their pomp. And there's the other thing that occurs to me. Like, we've seen a number of comedians, and you've pointed out, the pattern tends to be some enormous early success, and then nothing else they do afterwards quite measures up. That's basically true of The Goon Show. It's sort of true of Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, that their really big success was... Beyond the Fringe, which actually was the very first thing they did, but they were still very popular with Not Any But Also. But these two worked their way up slowly, got to the top around about this time, around 1971, and stayed there for like 7 or 8 years, just being brilliant week after week, year after year.
I guess, like, in show business, there is a lot of luck. Right? There's so much luck, but also with writing, with comedy, the more you do it, the more likely you're able to succeed again quickly. Like, if you think about stand-up, when you're first writing, and when you're first like going to open mics, it's almost by luck you get laughs because you don't know what you're doing. So I never really thought about this before, but if you have a huge success quite young, like Beyond the Fringe, when you're still in uni, it doesn't mean you're not talented, but you don't have the chops, you don't have the practice to constantly recreate. Where if they got their success in their, what were they, 30s, 40s, they have been freaking grafting and have all of this back catalog and know their workflow in order to recreate and recreate and recreate. Whereas at 20, if you get a hit at 20, you don't necessarily know how you did it. So it's harder to do it again. I've never really thought about that before. That's why I'm glad I haven't become an international success yet, or even a national success. I'm waiting.
When it comes, you'll be ready.
Yeah, as we said, I've turned 40. This is the year. This is the year. And my success is this podcast. Please like, subscribe, share it with your friends.
All right, time for the big question. The shelf of fame or the bargain bin?
Okay, so here's what I was thinking. One, because it is the Christmas special, does it count?
Oh.
And
It doesn't have to. We can say that it's a special case if you want.
And two, part of me loved it, but part of me is like, oh, it doesn't go on the shelf of fame yet till I watch 2 normal episodes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, because it was a very special episode, that it isn't going to go in the bargain bin, but what it's going to do is I'm going to put it on layaway.
Okay,
I'm going to put it on
right.
layaway. And this is our Morecambe and Wise episode. We're probably not going to visit it, at least anytime soon.
That's right.
We're not going to. I might go away and have a little looky-loo at stuff. And maybe it'll wind up on the shelf of fame. I mean, let's be honest. It should be there, but I refuse to because I'm like, no, I watched a Christmas special, and Christmas specials are specials. They don't count as episodes. So right now we have on the shelf of fame Victoria Wood, not only but also The Office and The Young Ones, and we are going to keep Morecambe and Wise off the shelf of fame for now. But who knows what happens in the future.
So maybe when we do our season 1 wrap-up, we can have a final look at the shelf of fame, make sure everything's in the right place, make sure nothing needs to be added or taken away.
Yeah, because I've been watching stuff which has made me go,
Oh.
is things in the right order? Not saying I've made the wrong decisions, but are they on the right order? So yeah.
All right, and listeners, let us know what you think. Do you think this is a wise decision by Abigoliah to keep her powder dry for now? Do you think the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special should have gone to number 1 like a rocket? And what Christmas specials do you remember watching, either as an adult or growing up when you were a little kid?
Oh, yeah, please tell us that. Please send, because, this is coming out Christmas Day. I was like, I want to watch them over Christmas. But yeah, I will say one, well, it's not a television show. The Charlie Brown Christmas special,
course, yes,
is a classic in America. I give that one to you guys as my recommendation. And if you haven't seen Morecambe and Wise, they're on iPlayer, so let's watch them. Let's watch them together.
All right. So, shall we talk about what we're going to be watching next?
Yes, tell me.
Next up, and we did trailer this in the previous episode, but when we just snuck this Christmas special in as an extra treat. So you do know this already, but it's going to be The Day to Day.
I'm very excited about it.
Which is the first television appearance of Alan Partridge, as played by Steve Coogan.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to that. As always, guys, like we said, if you enjoy the podcast, share it with a friend. Please subscribe. Maybe give us a 5-star review on your podcatcher app. Check out the Substack,
yes,
which you've been working on, and I will add to. I actually have something I want to add to it.
Please.
So yeah. Please check us out on Substack and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. We are on other social medias, Facebook, but I keep forgetting we have a Blue Sky. So you can join it. There's not much there.
Yes. All right. Well, until next time.
Have a good one, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And a happy Hanukkah.
You have been listening to All British Comedy Explained with Abigoliah Schamaun and Tom Salinsky. It was a Spontaneity Shop production for the internet. Find us online at allbritishcomedy.com, join our Facebook group, sign up to our mailing list, or follow us on Instagram or TikTok. Join us next time for episode 7, The Day to Day.